Right, so let's finish up part two, and you're going to have to forgive me. It's been many, many months, and I'm just a little bit discombobulated. I don't even have a proper haircut. I'll try to get a good haircut by the time I have the next video, and it's just been quite a few months, and it's been a new adventure, and it's been a new. I haven't even been at this location for quite a number of months. So now that I'm back, I'm have some downtime. Um, Anyways, to encapsulate part one, I've come to the point where I've begun to describe the fact that metadata is not really about either finding terrorists, like its supporters would say, or let's say those who would say it's not really about that at all. It's all about political dissidents and the whole terrorism thing as a cover, and they're both of these miss the point. I mean, certainly the first one does. The second one might have validity to it, but it's not the point. The point is metadata is about the control itself. It is about a view of humanity in which we are mathematical algorithms. And how do you stay human, fully human, biologically human? Okay, because that's an issue now. If you want to talk about remaining biologically human in the day and age of computer modification, in the day and age of bionic robots, in the day and age of biological genetic engineering, if you want to talk about how to stay biologically human, that's an issue. Intellectually human, how we remain whole in our minds, whole in our understanding of art, literature, philosophy, religion, science, all these things, how we remain whole within ourselves as human beings in this age of fragmentation. How we remain politically free, I think that spells itself out. I mean, we clearly have a government that no longer views itself as democratically accountable to the people. It's either accountable to the corporations or it's only accountable to itself. Which of these is true? I don't know. I don't know that either matters. I don't know that it matters which of these is true when you really get right down to it as far as you and I are concerned. How we remain human in the sense of our own emotions, human in the sense of our own sensibilities. The number one thing that I think we can do and that we should do is and this is my shameless plug after all these months of being off, is maybe we ought to be enjoying YouTube channels like this instead of YouTube channels that distract us with the lights and the colors and distract us with whether either it's sex or either it's violence or either it's titillation of some kind. I know that having some guy talking may not be the most interesting form of YouTube entertainment, but maybe it's a good idea to be able to have an attention span to follow a channel like this, precisely because our humanity may well depend, if not on me, then on somebody else who does his best to speak truth. Because there are a lot of liars out there, both within mainstream and in what is called the so-called alternative movement. And we're going to delve into some of the alternative narratives later on in this channel. That's my new direction. But as I do, bear in mind that there are a lot of minefields as we delve into issues around, let's say, not so mainstream forms of science, let's say. There are a lot of people who have no real intellectual rigor. And they might well be more interesting than my videos. I'm just going to state it up front. They might well be. But you are losing some of your humanity by being willing to sacrifice the truth for the mere expediency of an entertaining video, not caring whether or not they're really exploring the truth. So, how we remain human in the day and age of Snowden is by clinging to the truth, I think the number one thing. There are other facets to it, but the number one way to remain human in the day and age of the panopticon is to be more like the person who spilled the beans. Be more like the person who stood up to power. To be truly human is to speak truth to power, to love the truth, and to follow the truth wherever it leads. If we have no real love for the truth, but we want to manufacture our own truth, then we'll end up having the truth manufactured for us. I know of no other way to remain free than to be educated and to be truth seekers. I think this harkens back to Thomas Jefferson and the Age of Enlightenment. There is no other way for people to be free, there's no way for people to be free and be ignorant at the same time. It's not possible. There's no possible way for people to be entertained constantly and to also remain free. More than the NSA, more than the growth of state apparatus, it's our own addiction to entertainment that's really destroying us as a human society. We're more violent, more sexually addicted, lots of religion but very little empathy, lots of science and technology but very little philosophy, lots of books to consume but very little literature. That defines society today, and I'm going to add to that lots of consumer products but very little happiness. And if we want to recapture anything of our humanity, and all of our movies suggest that we do. I mean, look at the popularity of Avatar. Look at the popularity, apparently I didn't see it, but of Elysium. Look at a lot of our movies suggest that we do know that there's a problem here, and that we do know that there's something we need to recapture. But in order to recapture it, my goodness, people, you're going to have to be conscious about this. You're going to have to be willing to take a stand and say that you want to recapture it. It will be painful in the beginning. It will be painful to recapture humanity because you're going to actually have to feel. More so than any corporate or governmental or any organized religion or anything using things to distract us. More than that, I think as the movie V for Vendetta pointed out, you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror. You're going to have to accept some responsibility for the fact that you chose the easy path. You chose the path of selling out. And I don't just mean selling out to the system, selling out to the corporation. No, that's an easy... That's kind of an easy out. What I'm talking about is a deeper form of selling out than that. Selling out your humanity for the sake of anesthetization. You're going to have to accept the fact that we've lived half-lives. Of course, the radioactive materials that we've allowed to pollute our environment have half-lives. But we too have half-lives in, again, a little bit of pun, okay? But you get my point. So this is CH is True, ready to launch off into a little bit of a different direction. It's a little bit scary. I'm stepping into the void. It's not going to maybe be as intellectual as some of you want. It might explore certain subjects that you might not associate with, you might be a little bit uncomfortable with, my regular subscribers, but we're going to do this because I go to the truth wherever the truth leads. This is CH is True, signing off. It's good to be back. I'm going to try to make as many of these as possible, and I'm going to try to make this count, and I hope that you make this count with me. Let's begin by finding out how we can recapture our humanity in this ever-darkening age. CH is True, signing